plan. There is a version of you strong, peaceful, grounded, full of light. That version isn't a fantasy. Plan. It isn't locked in some far-off future. It's simply waiting. But not forever. It's waiting for you to wake up. Plan. Not just from sleep, but from fear, from self-doubt. Plan. From the numbness that convinces you this life you're living is all there is. You were not born to just exist. Plan. You were not meant to go through the motions, bury your dreams, and call that survival. You may feel stuck, tired. Plan. Or like life passed you by. But hear me, your future hasn't given up on you. Even if you started to give up on it. Plan. You see, the future doesn't demand that you be perfect. It only asks that you be present. Present enough to feel again, to believe again. Plan. To choose something more than just getting through the day. The life you want isn't asking for more strength. Plan. It's asking for more truth. The truth of who you are. The truth of what you need. Plan. The truth of what you're still carrying quietly, silently behind your smile. Plan. Your future is already forming through every choice you make, through every time you rise when you don't feel like it. Plan. Through every time you whisper, I'm tired, but I'm not finished. So don't wait for a miracle. Plan. Don't wait for the pain to vanish or the fear to disappear. Wake up with it. Rise through it. Plan. Because your future is not a destination. It's a decision. Plan. And it's waiting. There's a quiet grief that grows inside us when we believe our best days are already gone. Plan. We look at our past, the missed chances, the mistakes. Plan. The years that slipped through our fingers, and we convince ourselves that the future we dreamed of is no longer possible. Plan. We carry guilt for what we didn't do, and fear for what might never come. And slowly we stop hoping. We stop believing. Plan.
It's
But
something you create
your
with...
future is not lost. It's not behind you. It's just waiting. Waiting for you to notice it again. Plan. We often treat the future as something that must find us, as if one day it will knock on
If
our
it's
door,
a small one.
complete and shining. Plan. But the truth is, your future is not something that happens to you. Plan. It's something you create with your choices, especially the ones you make when no one is watching. Plan. It doesn't require everything to be perfect. It doesn't demand that you feel strong. It only asks you to be willing. Plan. Willing to take one step forward, even if it's a small one. Willing to let go of the idea that it's too late. Plan. Every time you choose growth over fear, honesty over hiding. Plan. Courage over comfort. You take one step closer to the life that's still waiting for you. You may not feel it, but it's there. Plan. Like a garden waiting for water. Like a road waiting for footprints. Plan. It doesn't need to be built from scratch. It just needs you to believe it's still worth building. Plan. The future you long for is not a fantasy. It's a possibility. Plan. And that possibility becomes real the moment you stop running from it and start reaching for it. Plan. So much of our suffering comes not from what we've lost, but from what we believe we can never have again. Plan. But what if your future isn't asking for perfection? What if it's just asking for presence? What if it's already unfolding? Plan. Quietly, behind the fear that tells you you're not ready. The future doesn't come in a loud, dramatic moment. Plan. It comes in whispers, in brave decisions, in showing up one more time. Plan. And maybe, just maybe, all it's waiting for now is you. There's a difference between being stuck and being disconnected. Plan. But when you're in that fog, when the days blur together, when motivation disappears, plan. When your heart feels numb, it's easy to confuse the two. You start to believe you've lost your way completely. Plan. That you've run out of options. But often, it's not that your life has stopped moving. Plan. It's that you have stopped feeling connected to the person moving through it. You wake up every day, go through the motions, plan, do what's expected, but inside you feel like a stranger to your own soul, plan. This kind of disconnection doesn't happen overnight. It builds slowly, plan. It begins when you silence your needs to meet someone else's. When you ignore your dreams because they seem too big, plan. When you pretend you're fine just to keep the peace. Over time, you forget what brings you joy. You forget what you stand for, plan. You forget what your own voice sounds like when it isn't trying to please, impress, or apologize, plan. And that is not being stuck. That is being disconnected. The spark isn't gone. It's just buried under layers of survival, plan. To reconnect with yourself, you don't need to take drastic steps. You don't need to change your entire life in a day, plan. You simply need to pause, to breathe, to listen, to ask, play. What do I need right now that I've been ignoring? The answers may be small at first. Rest, silence, truth, plan. But those small answers lead you back home. Back to the place where your soul feels seen, plan. Back to the version of you that hasn't disappeared, just been waiting for you to notice her again. When you feel lost, plan. Don't ask, what's wrong with me? Instead, ask, plan. Where did I stop listening to myself? Because the moment you begin to listen again, truly, honestly, plan, deeply, the path forward doesn't magically appear. You appear. And when you return to yourself, you realize, plan, you were never stuck, just a little too far away from who you really are. We tell ourselves we're being patient, plan, that we're just waiting for the right time. When the pain is less, when the chaos settles, when we finally feel ready, plan. But most of the time, we're not waiting for a perfect moment. We're hiding behind the idea of one, plan. The right time becomes our shelter, a place where we don't have to try, risk, or fail. But deep inside, we know the truth, plan. Waiting feels safe, but it also keeps us stuck, because fear doesn't always scream. Sometimes it whispers in excuses, plan. The perfect moment is a lie we've been taught to believe in. A way to delay growth, to postpone discomfort, plan. But growth has never waited for comfort. It always demands that we step forward before the storm clears. It's easy to say, plan, not now, when life feels messy. But life will always feel messy. There will always be bills, responsibilities, wounds, doubts, plan. If you wait for all the stars to align, plan. You may look up one day and realize years have passed. And the moment you were waiting for never came, plan. Starting doesn't mean you're fully prepared. It means you're willing. Willing to begin even when your hands are shaking, plan. Willing to show up before you're confident. Willing to believe there's something on the other side of fear, plan. Even if you can't see it yet. The most powerful decisions are rarely made in peace. They're made in the middle of resistance, plan. And that's where courage is born, not in the absence of fear, but in the presence of it, when you choose to move anyway, plan. So ask yourself,